Hi, this is On Imagination with the Healing Garden. We are going to cover the map of the subconscious mind. Now, we're going to have a talk. I have had this conversation with many, many people, and there are areas where the map is unique and different, and there are places where it's not unique. So I'm going to give you the skeletal frame of the map of the subconscious mind. But, and this is important, your intuition, your feelings are more important than my words. I'm going to tell you what I found. I'm going to tell you my research. I'm going to tell you what everybody else has said. I'm going to show you all the common denominators. Now, you might hear these common denominators and say, "Oh, that's my common denominator too." And then I'm going to paint a framework, and I'm going to build what I know around that framework. And then you're going to alter whatever parts you need for you. It is most important that you make this authentically your own. I'm just giving you the framework, okay? Really, really important for your mental health that you do that. So there are 5 parts. Oh, I also need to clarify. My alters and I are the ones who did this. My alters and I each switched. And when we broke down and we switched, we each saw a different subconscious mind. So we mapped out the entire subconscious mind as each one of us saw it. And all 4 of us, well, the 4 alters plus myself, came up with something different. Well, something identical, except one part. One part was different for all of us. And then I took that frame and I talked to many other people about it. And everybody else said, yup, I got the same thing. And they matched it right up. So far, the common denominators are 100% accuracy. So we're going to go over this. You ready? But I'm going to say again, your understanding must trump whatever it is I say. Absolute mandatory. There are 5 levels of the subconscious mind. In order to access all 5 of them, you're going to have to really familiarize yourself with your own mind. Most people who are not consciously aware can see 1. People who are not consciously aware have access to the first level. If you are kind of a little bit accessible to the other level, you get 2. And then after that, there is the 3rd level. I have not met very many people who've made it to the 3rd level. Most people have made it to the 1st or the 2nd. There's the 3rd level. And then there's the 4th level. I'm going to say again, no one's made it to the 4th level. Nah, it's not true. That's not true. It's not true. I put the others out of my mind. These people. The people who make it to this level are criminals. So the 2 criminals I spoke to, both of them saw all of this. But I've erased them from my mind so much that I forgot about that. So the first level of the subconscious mind is the voices in your head. It's where you hear all the activity. It's when you read a book and you can hear the words in your head. That's your first level of the conscious mind. That is what I like to call the meeting room or the council room. Now, mine is stainless steel, and this is where things differ. For me, everything is stainless steel. It's like a black silver or a black stainless steel. But other people see wood, other people see, so that's up to you. There's that space, that head space. For me, it's located in the cognitive core, and it's that right there where I hear my intuition talking. It's where I hear the identity going, I want to. That's all up here. The 2nd level is the memory. Now, my memories are a labyrinth, and this is where you might have something different. For me, it's a labyrinth, and it's all, again, stainless steel. This is for me. And this is where all the memories are. For me, they're doors. They're open doors. They're closed doors. For me, the most frequent memories and the ones that are prominently in my mind are open. The ones that are not prominent, but they're there and I can access them, are closed. And the older the memory, the deeper into the labyrinth they are. The memories that are so horrible were locked. The memories that were unimaginably horrific were all the way in the back, and there was leaves and trees grown over, like in a secret garden, completely covering up. So as you descend into the labyrinth, in my mind, there were trees in the older parts that had grown over, and there was foliage and forestry. So I couldn't even see the older memories. When I did my shadow work, it consisted of me opening each and every door, kicking them open. And inside every one of the doors was a room with the incident depicting the monster and identity, the inner child. And it was defeat the monster, save the child. Defeat the monster, save the child. Kick open the next door. Defeat the monster, save the child. Kick open the next door. Defeat the monster, save the child. Where's my book? I cannot see it. I have one book that I recommend for this called The 7 Parts of the 6 Pillars. The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem by Brett. Where is my book? You can laugh, Lizzie. It's all right. Every time I make a mistake, not every time I make a mistake. Every now and then I say something really funny and it's a Freudian slip or something and she giggles. Yeah, you can go ahead and giggle about that too. She's laughing over there. It's the 6 parts of the 6 steps. Why can't I remember this book of yours, Nathaniel? Nathaniel, I cannot remember his book. The 6 parts, the 6 pillars of self-esteem. That's it, the 6 pillars of self-esteem. The 6 pillars of self-esteem by Nathaniel Dr. Brandon. That's how you do shadow work. That man. I'm going to tell you about Dr. Nathaniel Brandon. Nathaniel and I are friends. We've been buddies for like 30 years. It's a long story. Dr. Nathaniel Brandon used to be Ayn Rand's lover. He was involved with her for 20 years. Atlas Shrugged was dedicated to this man. So I know him as Nathaniel. For decades, I've known him as Nathaniel. He is in The Passion of Ayn Rand and in the very early editions of Atlas Shrugged, the book was dedicated to Nathaniel. Nathaniel and Frank. So here I am. I'm very familiar with his philosophy because I know Ayn Rand's philosophy. And I'm like, okay, who is the world's leading anybody on self-esteem? And Nathaniel Brandon's books came up. And I'm like, I know that name. I know that name. So I went ahead and got like the world's most infamous book on self-esteem called Dr. Nathaniel Brandon's The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. I bought this book and I'm sitting here reading it like, I know this man. How do I know this man? Because I studied philosophy. And I found out that it was great because I was like in chapter 2 and I had this epiphany. Oh my God, it's Nathaniel. Last I knew, Nathaniel was studying to be a philosopher and a psychologist. So this was my finding out that he made it. So I'm like, oh my God, he made it. It was a thought. I ran over, I got my books on Passion of Ayn Rand. I was like, oh my God. And sure enough, about 10 chapters in, he addresses his relationship with Ayn Rand and the mental process that he went through it. And apparently he went on to be the leading psychologist and philosopher on self-esteem. So I commend his work, and it is so strongly saturated with Randian philosophy, which is the stuff that I use, is like, it's good shit. It's the best shit. It's Pythagorean psychology. There you go. Nathaniel Brandon uses Pythagorean psychology. So he explains how to do shadow work in the book. I'm going to be blunt. I learned how to do shadow work from Dr. Nathaniel Brandon. Throw everything else away. Just use Dr. Brandon's work. That is how it's done. That is how it's done. I was able to use his process, and within 2 months, my shadow work was done. Do you hear what I'm saying? 2 months, and I was done with his process because that is how good Pythagorean psychology is. That's what happens when you put philosophy and psychology. So, holy shit. If you need to do shadow work, absolutely grab Dr. Nathaniel Brandon's 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. He walks you through the shadow work process the right way and safely. That all being said, in summary, it's defeat the monster, save the child. And the child is identity. You have to rewrite your own story to teach yourself how to learn from your past mistakes. And that is the theory behind shadow work. You have to learn what you failed to learn the first time. That's it. You have to learn Healing is learning. Living is learning. Mental health is learning. If you have a problem with learning, you are not going to be okay in this program. But you're here and you're doing it, so you probably are fine with learning. I actually go over learn how to learn and trauma healing with learning. I do a whole thing just on, because if you cannot embrace and absorb and adore learning, you're not going to have a happy life, because the human being is learning. They are synonymous. So what Nathaniel Branden does in his book is he literally walks you through the learning process to take the past incidents, learn from it, so you never have to do it again. And when you learn it, the memory unlocks, the trauma releases, and you're fine. There you go. After that, I recommend havening. I absolutely recommend havening after that. So that's your second, that is the second level of the subconscious mind. It is your memory. It is your archive. I'm going to say this real slow. Memories are your past archives. It is not a learning center of your brain. Not at all. It is your archive of your past. That's all it is. If you do not go through the experience, it's not going to go in there as a memory. No matter how much your teachers want you to memorize shit to get it in there. It's just that's actually assaulting your subconscious mind, and it causes trauma. Do not assault your memory. It is just your archives. It's your library center of your past. It is not your learning center. That being said, we are going to look at the third level. The third level is where identity lives. It's where your cognitive core is located. It's where everybody lives. It's where your subconscious mind lives. It's where they go when they're not in your mind talking. That is the third level of the subconscious mind. For me, this room is another black stainless steel room, and it is just a vast, wide open, white, brightly lit room. In the far back corner, there is a closet, which leads to the fourth level of the subconscious mind. That is where I lived for 32 years, in that closet. That closet is what I refer to as the proverbial closet of the subconscious mind, where it stores all of these skeletons in that closet, like me. I was a skeleton in its closet. Welcome to multiple personality disorder, where they take the host, the core, I was the core, and they cram the core into the closet. The proverbial closet, the fourth level of the subconscious mind, is where the subconscious mind puts all the people and all the things that you're not supposed to remember to keep you safe. There are some memories that are so horrific that they're not allowed to be in the second level of the subconscious mind, which is the labyrinth. Oh, no, 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 no. The subconscious mind sometimes goes up and beyond its duties, and it will cram all this shit into the fourth level of the subconscious mind, which is the proverbial closet where all the skeletons are kept. If you have a problem with masturbation, it's going to go in this closet. If you have a shadow self of the dark side of the self where you secretly love BDSM, it's going to go into that closet. If you have a really weird kink or fetish, it's going to go into that closet. Almost all of our sexuality is crammed into that closet. Compliments of society. All of the parts of you that are the shadow self are in that closet. Me, I was in that closet for 32 years. When you seek out a hypnotherapist, don't do that. Don't do that. When you seek out a hypnotherapist and you talk to the hypnotherapist, don't do this. The hypnotherapist is going to evaluate what's in the second level of your subconscious mind. Your conscious awareness does not know what is in the proverbial closet. Access is denied from the conscious awareness unless and until you've done the shadow work. Don't go to hypnotherapy, because what they are really doing is locking that closet. House's head, Wilson's brain. No, wait, it was Wilson's heart. House's head, Wilson's heart. If you need to, go back and watch those 2 episodes. Do not do hypnotherapy. You lock that closet. Joanna was smart enough to have this intuition inside of her to go, I should not do hypnotherapy. Thank fucking God, because it's me. Had she done that, she had amnesia. She had no idea that she had multiple personality disorder. She had no idea that she was an author. That was a conversation we had to have. Yeah. So do not do hypnotherapy because you have an uneducated, they're dangerously ignorant. Don't do hypnotherapy. You have no idea what you are locking down into your subconscious mind. Do the work. Don't touch hypnotherapy. Dr. Nathaniel Branden's self-esteem book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. The 5th level of the subconscious mind. That is where the criminal mind lives. I don't want to talk about it. That is where the criminal mind goes. And I cover it twice in 2 videos, and I will never go back there again. You can go back and watch those videos. So that is the map of your subconscious mind. Now, that is just the inner subconscious mind. That is not the deep self. That is not at all the abstract. It's the abstract, but it's not the deep abstract. That's just the inner self. That is what is accessible to you when you've done the shadow work, when you go into this realm, when you start to dive into the self. This is what you uncover. When you start therapy, you might be in the 4th perspective, 2nd, 3rd, 4th perspective. And if you're struggling with abstract concepts, you're going to be 2nd, 3rd, 4th perspective. At the 5th perspective, this is where you start to become consciously aware of the abstract. At the 6th perspective, when you start to do your healing journey, this is where you go. At the healing journey, when you start off, you familiarize yourself with the map of the subconscious mind. You get into that first ethical, or you get into that first level of the subconscious mind. You start talking to people up there. The 2nd level, you go into the memory realm. For me, and it's literally layers. It's I see 1, I see 2, I see 3, I see 4. Actually, the 3rd, and then there's the door, and then there's a floor down there. I don't go to that. I've never been to mine. I don't even know if I have one. I don't explore it because it's not where I need or want to go. So those are the levels. The only reason why I know about the 5th level is because I had 2 pedophiles describe theirs in detail. And that's the only way I know about them. Like I said, I don't want to, no. So for me, I have a 3rd level and I have a door, and that's all I got. That's all I got. So there you go. There you have it. You might have domes. If you have multiple personality, you're going to have domes. A dome is it's almost like having a castle on a cloud where you have additional outer rooms that are separate from that system. So if you are going, well, no, I've got all these other places, that would be your domes. That would absolutely be your domes. 1 dome per altar. So I had 4 domes. I had 4 domes. I have, and in every one of them, I had my Irish cabin. I have Under Earth. I have the field. I have this Irish field. I had my forest and my Egyptian room. That was my safe place. Oh my God, I love that place. That was my favorite place, with my Egyptian room. So I had the Egyptian room. I had the Irish cabin. I have my field, and then I had my my Under Earth, my Feywild. So I had those 4 locations. Those were my domes. Those were basically an abstract location that was my inner safe place where my altars went to on the really, really bad days. So you have the 5 levels of the subconscious mind, and then you have your domes if you have multiple personality disorder. which is really multiple consciousness disorder, not multiple personality disorder. And that is the inner, absolutely the inner, or I should say, yeah, that is the inner layer of the abstract. That's not the abstract. For me, that's not the abstract. There's a door. And once you go in the door, at the 6th ethic, you cross the door. And by the time you're in the 7th ethic, now you're starting to go through it. So that's where we're going to leave you there. It's just that structure. So that is what almost everybody, well, that's what everybody has. That is what everybody has. You don't become consciously aware of it until you hit that 5th ethical perspective. Now, at the 6th ethic, especially after you've done the work, you go, there's more here. There's more. Yes, there's more. There's more. Absolutely. But that's not what we're going to talk about here. That is in part 2 and part 3. Part 1 of triadic healing, we are only up to the 6th ethic. That's all we're going to talk about is the 6th ethic. If you have not gone through the first 6 ethics, if you are not solid on those first 3 ethics, you have no business playing around with that door on that 6th ethic. None at all. You leave that door alone. That's for later when you're ready, because you don't want to cross through that door without having a stable 1, 2, and 3 foundational first, because you need a foundational 1, 2, and 3 before you open that abstract door. So we leave the abstract door closed at this point, and we will open that door later. Right now, the door stays closed, and you need to focus on the first 6 ethics, which is why I mostly only talk about the first 6 ethics, is because you do not open that door until you need the abstract intradimensional navigational system to open that door, or you will get lost. And that's what happens to people who go past that door before they're ready. You don't open the door until you have the abstract interdimensional navigational system. That's why I call it a navigational system. You have to know yourself so solidly that when you walk through that door, you don't get lost and you can come back out again. So 6 ethics only. That's what's going on in this space. And that door is that is the door of the abstract. It's the door of the abstract. That's the door. We're going to go through that later. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First 3 ethics is that foundation of the self. And then we cover justice, 4, 5, 6. So you have got to know how to manage you. And this is all that we're going to be talking about in this triadic healing part 1. Triadic healing part 2, we'll be talking about that next. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.